Welcome to Waiting on the Trade, a monthly comics book club for people who can't keep up with monthly comics. I'm Matt Ledger.
I'm Patrick Fitzgerald Fleck.
This month, we're talking about The Green Lantern, Volume 1 by Grant Morrison, Liam Sharp, and a bunch of other talented folks. Now, in case you didn't reread this comic today like I did,
Oh, I totally did. Don't worry.
The Green Lantern is Grant Morrison's return to monthly DC Comics and is best described as Doctor Who meets NCIS, with Hal Jordan as the serial's lead. Do you think that actually works as the description? I just made that up.
NCIS is a strange choice, but
So here's my deal with that. I was going to say like NYPD Blue, but I feel like that's got more like soap opera than this. It's not like CSI either, because it's not always like solve a murder. I don't know. Which police procedural would you pick? Because I think that's what it is, right? It's Doctor Who meets a police procedural, but I didn't know what to pick.
Blue Bloods?
Never seen it is the problem. I think that one's more soap opera-y too from the weird commercials I've seen.
I mean, you're hard-pressed not to find a soap opera-y procedural.
See, NCIS is very much like this, where you watch an episode of NCIS and you don't really give a shit about the characters by the end, but it's still entertaining.
You don't like Gibbs?
I like Gibbs, actually.
And then the cool forensic scientist chick, I can't remember her name.
Abby. Apparently she doesn't exist anymore.
What?
I saw on the cover of People or something the other day that she's moving on to do a sitcom, which I can't even imagine.
I could see that.
Yeah?
Good for her. I wish her the best.
We should probably not start an NCIS podcast inside our
probably not.
Podcast.
I was trying to think of any other procedurals. Like, could you say
Sherlock?
I'm blanking. No, not Sherlock.
No, there's not mysteries.
What about True Detective? That's more of like a partner kind of thing.
I mean, yeah, like time isn't a flat circle in here, although Green Lantern did like wish himself inside his ring, it looks like, at the end. I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta fucking explain that, because
I don't really know, man. It's a cliffhanger. You're supposed to want to pick up issue 7.
It went full Sandman there at the end, and I was not prepared.
It's half Sandman from the start.
But anyways, your description is okay, though I reserve judgment on the NCIS. I'm gonna figure out something else. But yeah.
I mean, but that's like the thing for me, and the reason it's very Doctor Who-ish to me is like each episode, and I think it's best described as episodes. Like they even, like the creators themselves describe them as seasons in interviews and stuff, and I think the Green Lantern season 2 just started like last month. So they did like a 12-issue run, a little 3-issue miniseries break, and then they started season 2. So, like, I think it's built to function in much the same way a TV show does. And I think I have an interview from Grant Morrison I can find to put in the show notes, which confirms that. Because, like, he's been in TV writer rooms recently, and he wanted to kind of steal that structure. So I think that's why it's set up the way it is, with each kind of issue being its own complete thing, which I think leads pretty well into your issue-by-issue breakdown.
Oh, God, you want me to do that? Oh, no.
You always do that. This one's, like, the most deserving of it, yeah, because each issue is kind of its own episode. All-Star Superman was kind of like that though too, really.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, I can do my best.
All right, let's do it.
Issue 1 throws you real deep into the alien stuff right from the get-go.
It is a lot, right? Like I wrote in my notes that it's this discussion that I think we've had about sci-fi in 3 episodes if we'd actually recorded the House of X Powers of X episode that we were going to do.
Yes.
Which we had kind of off mic because we couldn't get everyone together at the same time, but we'd still kind of talked about the book anyways. But like I feel like we've come into this question of like, how do you like your sci-fi 3 separate times recently? And there's the one approach that's like, it's the real world, it's grounded, and then you extrapolate or you bend, like you introduce 1 or 2 unknown elements, like you extrapolate a little bit, but it's like it's mostly the real world that you recognize, and then the sci-fi comes.
Sure.
Or you have a Green Lantern that's on a gambling planet being attacked by a spider pirate, and that's page 2 of your comic book.
It's a lot, you know.
It is. So how do you? This is so dumb that we didn't record the House and Powers episode for us to be able to compare it. But like, how do you feel about it versus that book? Because that book's a lot too, right? Is it just that? Like,
It
You don't
is.
have the background that you have with the X-Men that you have with Green
I had
Lantern
that
stuff.
exact same thought process while going like analyzing my feelings about reading this because yeah, I felt overwhelmed for the majority of this, and I really, really start to feel for Catherine's take on House of X, Powers of X, where she just could not get over the amount of X-Men Marvel bullshit that they threw at you on every single page. And
Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I
there's a
feel like
lot
this
of Green
one's
Lantern.
more forgiving because you don't really need to know any of it. Like,
Well,
if
my
you like
problem
Spider
is
Pirates, you're still in on page 2, I feel like.
sure, but I think you here again have more knowledge than I do, or at least maybe you've read Green Lantern more recently than I have.
Yeah,
I
I've got a bit more of it for sure.
because I went through the whole like the core wars leading up to Darkest Night, Blackest Night, one of those
Blackest Night,
things.
yeah.
It was a Dark Night, except not the Dark Night. But yeah, it's I can't differentiate between this is zany alien nonsense and this is zany Green Lantern nonsense. Like I recognize some of the aliens in the Green Lantern Corps, like the avian looking woman who's also a Green Lantern. I recognize her species because I've seen other bird people. But like, yeah, I wouldn't be able to have. I has this spider pirate woman been in other Green Lanterns? I don't know. Has like the Luck Masters been referenced before? I don't know.
Yeah, those are all things, but like, does it matter? I guess. Like, did
I
you? How lost did you feel at a scale of 1 to 10?
well, the story itself, there wasn't anything to ground myself in this first bit. Like there was nothing. Like I knew the Green Lanterns, but then I didn't know the Green Lantern that I was being introduced to. And he had his own like little background where like he was a upper crust, like he was an aristocrat who like got forced into the Lantern Corps War or something. Like it's an aside that he gives while he's like walking to his death.
Yeah.
And like, okay, I don't know this guy. He's yellow and he's a Green Lantern, which is interesting because I didn't think the Lantern Ring worked on yellow things. But whatever, we'll bypass that.
You've read that book, the Sinestro Core War. They work
It's
on
true.
yellow. Now you just have to overcome your
You
fear, Pat.
just gotta get over that yellow fear you got. The story didn't give me anything to latch onto. It didn't give me my life preserver, and the art really didn't. So I was just afloat in the sea of Green Lantern, and I couldn't find my footing.
I think that's fair, actually. And like rereading it today, especially, the weird thing to me is that in the first issue, so much is thrown at you, and then you get Hal Jordan, and then like 3/4 of the way through the book, you get the Guardians actually explaining what a Green Lantern is, and that's, I don't know, that's not a great look for an introductory comic book, like a big issue number 1 that people should get excited about and be able to pick up. Like,
I think people can pick up that they're cops. They have literally aliens saying, "You won't catch me now, coppers." So like they can
that's
pick
the
up
thing.
the policing force of the galaxy or whatever.
So like I don't know. I always wonder if it's like just the fact that I started reading these stupid comic books when I was really young, and so like the barrier is not A, it's not as high for me, and B, I think I'm used to just being thrown into these sorts of things and going for the ride. Like I really loved that second page. I don't really know where the Spider Pirate was from. Like on my second or third reread, I realized I had actually read comics with like these spider people in them.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
fun.
there's like a Green Lantern Corps story that they're in from around when Hal Jordan came back in Rebirth, but
Hmm. Well, see, I don't mind the spider pirate. I just it's the spider pirate and then the busyness. Like that page that you're talking about, the second page
mhm.
is so crammed full of details that I can't like other than the floating dice in the background. Which why the heck did they do they have six-sided dice? Whatever. It's not a human construct. Did we like steal it from them or did they take it from us? There's nothing to like. I don't know where they're standing. Are they in fog? Are they on a street? Are those like people walking on a bridge behind? Like, I need some sort of reference, something to like nail myself to. Like, okay, so if that's a road, they're in a street, and those are highway. Like, I need to be able to understand something of what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair.
Like, are they in a casino right now? Is that a casino?
It's like a casino planet, actually.
Okay. And like I had no idea who those blue guys are. who are like commenting about the fight, who I
Yeah.
guess are the luck masters or whatever they're called. Like I'm
See,
okay
you
with
got there.
Zany, but like if you turn the next page, somehow he gets thrown into a car and there's like weird stoplight that's incredibly insane. Like I need some sort of reference of what's going on and what I'm looking at. And it doesn't really give me that either in the story or in the art.
How does it compare? And then I want to talk about the art after this because I feel like
Sure.
we have differing opinions and that'll be interesting. How does
Yeah.
it compare to you to like a Star Trek episode or a Doctor Who episode? Like, what's the difference to you? Because I know like you and I both watch those things and we like them. So like,
Yeah.
what's the difference?
It's not really a fair comparison because in both of those shows you have the main characters, there's something that you know, like no matter how crazy a Star Trek episode gets, you know that Starfleet is going to show up, Picard or whoever the captain's going to show up, and the crew's going to figure out a way to solve. Like you know the basis of what a Star Trek episode will be. Same thing with Doctor Who. You know that there's going to be a blue box. It's going to be bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. There's going to be companions. There's going to be like what you're getting into.
You saw Hal Jordan on the cover of this comic book, Pat. You've read Hal Jordan comics.
That is true. That is true.
No, I mean, like, I think honestly, you're probably right. And my bias towards having read comic books forever and just being able to go along for the ride is what gets me through it. But like, I don't know. It's interesting to me that like it's like an interesting choice to not actually open with Hal Jordan on a book called The Green Lantern with Hal Jordan on the cover,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Like, what even is that?
Like, I think Morrison was going for like getting you into the feel of this is a cop drama. Like these are cops trying to keep the peace. And yeah, the criminals may be a little bit different than what you're used to seeing, but they're still cops dealing with bad guys and putting them away. And that's basically what the first 4 or 5 pages of this sets up before Hal shows up.
And I think it does like tell the reader right away that like Hal Jordan is not the super interesting part of this book because I don't think he was. Would you agree or disagree? Like,
oh no, Hal was just like, yeah, he was white toast. There's nothing to him.
I mean, I wouldn't say there's nothing to him, but he's not super complicated, right? Like he's a protagonist in this book.
Yep, he is the protagonist, basically.
But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to me because like I definitely see exactly what you're saying, and I think you're probably more correct than I am.
I don't know if there needs to be a different layer of correctness, but
no,
I'm coming at it a different perspective than you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So like let's talk about the art, I guess.
Sure.
I really liked it.
I mean, I would never say this art is bad. It is not bad art. It is very detailed and the coloring is fantastic.
The coloring is fantastic.
I think at times it gets lost in itself. And as a reader, I get lost with it and I have a hard time discerning what's happening on occasion. It also has a style that's more retro is not the right word, but it's an older looking style than I'm used to seeing. If that makes sense.
No, it does. I mean, like it's
very heavy inking.
It is. I think it's supposed to like part of what they were going for is they wanted it to look very different than a mainstream like American superhero thing. Like I'm not sure if Liam Sharp is actually American or not, but I'm pretty sure he's not. So let me look that up quick. Yeah, he's also British. So I think they're going for more of that like 2000 AD like Euro comic style, but also translating it into a bullshit DC superhero comic. And
sure.
I really dug it actually. Like I don't think it works on every page. I definitely agree with you there.
Well, it's the inking and then the panels. He has lots of fun with different paneling throughout the course of this book, which some of it worked and some of it was just a little weird.
What did you think about the pages? Because there's a lot of these pages where there's like one larger design or panel that's basically like the majority of the page. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like then there are the panels inset. Like there's usually like 2 to 4 panels like kind of inset within that. I had a good example up and then there's another good one too.
When he finds the crash ship with the crystalline.
Yep. Yeah, that's the one I had up on my screen.
I enjoy that. Like, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I wanted to talk about those specifically because I think they do a really good job of world building, kind of, where you can see this entire big environment that the action's taking place within,
Hmm.
and then like specific moments happening within that thing. Like, it's kind of like, to me, like fantasy novel setting where like a Tolkien or a George R. R. Martin will take like 3 paragraphs and set up like here's where you are, here's what's going on, and then the action starts. Like to me, that big panel is essentially like the visual version of hey, here's where you are, which is really cool to me because it's doing that at the same time as like something is happening in each of those panels. There's one on the slave ship in issue 3
Hmm.
that was really interesting to me because you read the top of it and then as you come down the 4 panels that are inset there's like dialogue that's in the larger panel that you don't read till you get to the panels on the side, which
Hmm.
is a neat trick. It's that kill me dialogue from the slaves, so I mean like
Oh, yeah. Well,
um,
yeah, it's
not fun but
it gives the page more immersion, I think, than having the stark white backgrounds. Yeah, I think those pages are good. I like them.
but overall
It's not like I say, the style seems dated to me, which I think was on purpose. So it was just not my thing. And at times, yeah, the detail just gets lost in itself. Like it's strange. Sometimes he chooses to go super detailed, and other times they're floating in like a stark background where obviously they didn't want to like do the background. Just the choices of when to do it was interesting.
yeah, and it does kind of alternate even between like this really clean superhero style in some panels where there's not much going on in the background, like you were saying, and then those
Mhm.
like mega detailed. I'm looking at the like the his design for Oa basically in issue 2 right now.
Yeah. Hmm.
That page, which like could be a poster.
Yeah. Yeah. Which
So
I
yeah, I
mean,
don't know.
I really like Frank Quitely, and he's all about the crazy detail. But yeah, Planet of that page, oh, that's a lot of ink.
Yes, it is. I wonder how long that page took to draw. I mean, you got to reuse it at least. I think it shows up again in like issue 6 somewhere or something, like at half of it.
It's an interesting comparison between. He obviously likes doing the alien backgrounds. Like obviously, Oa is an alien construction. You can't as humans, we can't quite understand what each of those like the beams and like each of the buildings represent. And yet, most of the lanterns have humanoid bodies.
Yeah, that was like my one complaint I think the with the actual like art in the book is that every like the volcano lantern has arms and
Right.
legs. Why?
Yeah, and not arms like super muscular, like
Yeah,
masculine arms
super
and
buff,
legs.
super buff.
And if you're a woman in the core, you just you got to be busty. You got to be busty
Yeah, the
with
like
hips.
for all the weird architecture and design flourishes and stuff, the like the lantern core itself is not
Like
super
in the background,
diverse.
there are really wacky lanterns, and they talk about like the virus lantern
Yeah, but
and
you
like
don't see him. Most of the other
no
lanterns are like either humanoid or
athletic looking human
suns.
body people with like strange heads and hands, basically on
Yeah.
occasion.
I think the most alien aliens are the Dorians, the people that show up in 3 and are trying to sell Earth.
Oh yeah, the insect people. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But those are a pre-existing design too. So, although they're much creepier than usual.
yeah. And even like the what is she a baroness? The
Mhm.
the vampire woman, like
Yeah.
the beautiful vampire daughter or whatever the description was of her is like, oh god, really? Okay.
I mean, I'll give him that one. Like, you want to give Hal Jordan an interesting villainess to play off of.
Yeah,
But,
but
like, give me an
she doesn't need to
octopus
be
lantern or something.
the beautiful bear, the vampire baroness. It's just like,
I mean,
okay.
it's like a pulp adventure police procedural. What do you want from it, Pat?
Maybe no more pulp adventure police procedural. I don't know. Like there's nostalgia has a place, I guess, but like I don't know. I'm over those stories, you know? Like those tropes are tired. Let's get some new ones.
Yeah, that's fair, actually. I don't know. Give me an octopus lantern.
Right?
So, which issue did you like most? And then which issue did you like least?
Oh boy. Uh The vampire like initiation issue was interesting. It felt like way left field. Like all of a sudden we're gonna go into this horror themed planet. It was fun, but it was like, oh, okay.
So are you saying it's your least favorite?
I don't like.
It's okay to say it. You read my notes, and that's fine. I understand.
Hey, I have my own thoughts before then. Okay, no, I think my favorite issue is probably the world slaver issue. That felt the most like complete to me.
The
Well,
one
the
where
end,
they're auctioning Earth.
yeah,
That one was interesting. With quote unquote God.
it
It
felt
was
like an episode
weird.
of Star Trek to me.
It did. So like that's the thing to me is I part of the reason because I picked this book thinking we would both at least enjoy it, if not like it, because this felt to me very sci-fi TV episode-y in a way, and but like
Sure,
it's much more scrunched than that. Like I think if you tried to make one of these in 22 minutes, you would fail hardcore because there's so much in each book. Which I think again brings us to that like that failing that we kind of talked about, where if you're not along for the ride, like this book kind of just is not going to be your thing.
right, right. Well, I guess before we go into more detail about our favorite and least favorite,
Oh, I guess we could do that. The
we
thing that we said
complete
we
the
were going to do a
list.
half hour
Yeah.
ago.
So the first issue, we get introduced to lanterns doing lantern things. Jump back to Earth. Hal is looking up at the stars because he's been kicked out. Right?
Yeah, wandering around proving that he's the least interesting Green Lantern.
Who is the woman that he's with?
I don't know actually that one. I think she's some random character from Green Lantern past, I would
Okay.
imagine. Because a lot of things in here are just like random polls that again I don't think you need to know, but I definitely didn't know all of them, especially because I'm much less up on like when Morrison did this on Batman, I was much more readily able to pick all of this stuff up. Here,
Sure.
I'm not gonna. I had to Google what's his face at the end, Merwedden or whatever.
Oh, I was meaning to look that up. Yeah, tell me.
He's a guy.
All right.
But anyways, yeah, Hal's dorking around having bum fights.
Yeah, like yeah. Another thing, the inclusion of the female love interest just for the one page to say, "Oh, Hal, you got fired again. I got salsa. Let's have sex." It's like,
He's
why
so
is she in
competent
there?
and sexy.
Oh, look at him. He's got the ladies even when he doesn't. Oh, that
Women
Hal
love it,
Jordan,
even though he's like not really doing anything.
right? Like, okay, but yeah. So, and then he's all of a sudden hitchhiking for no reason with a sandwich. It just
Which was
comes out of
supposed to
nowhere.
be a burrito, apparently, according to the
Oh,
dialogue.
that's right. That's definitely a sandwich.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, and they get a bum fight, and the bums are all the same alien entity.
I think like one of my least favorite things might be those people who like least favorite and most favorite. I don't know. So bad it's good. Like those people that drive around, drive through.
cheer the bums fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the woman has like tats up and down her arms. That's funny. Strange details that have no bearing on the story.
There was just a lot of weird little Morrisonisms in this that like I liked. I liked a lot of them, and some of them I just didn't. I didn't really get.
But yeah, so issue 1, lanterns arrest some criminals, and then they break out and get to Earth somehow.
They crash land on Earth,
Of all the planets and all of the cosmos, they crash land on Earth.
reprising that Green
His
Lantern origin
story.
again. Yeah.
Yeah. Hal gets his ring charged up by a friendly crystalline lantern.
I do really love that like manga ass page where he transforms into Green Lantern. That's another one that could be a cool poster, I feel like.
Oh, with the swirling clouds. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the mantra is pretty great. So,
Yeah.
the oath.
Can't go wrong.
It's pretty great. And yeah, and then we cut back to the town. There's a giant like gopher attacking it with a robot and a spider. It's not having a good time.
Hal beats them without doing anything, basically.
Nope. And then the Guardian's like, Hal, we noticed you had a ring. You should come to Oa. It's like, oh, okay.
And they're like, oh, you're in. You're back in. Turns out you're the star of this series. Did you know?
You are the Green Lantern. Pay no attention to the hundreds of thousands of other lanterns. Yeah, and then we get a MacGuffin that says, "We read the book of Oa," which there's a book of Oa, which I'm sure has been brought up before.
You know about that. It's in the
I
Lantern Corps
know.
stuff.
It's been a while. I had to go back and like page through the Lantern Corps War stuff. But yeah, so the prophecy says they're going to be betrayed, but this is something about it. Someone tampered with it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Someone tampered with the book, and yet the prophecy says a lantern will betray them. But that they orchestrate the lantern that betrays them.
I think two lanterns are going to end up betraying them, is
Oh,
what's going
okay,
to
there's another
happen.
lantern. Oh
Yeah.
no, better not be Volcano Lantern. He's my favorite.
I was trying to decide which lantern it is, because, like, it should be one of the ones we met in here if it's going to mean anything, right?
It's gonna be the yellow dude from page one.
You
No,
think?
it's gonna be the yellow dude's finger from page one.
Do you think it's Fluzelflen?
Flam, no.
That would be too real for me, given everything that's going on.
Right? Maybe it'll be one of the X-ray lanterns. Is it going too far to have like light spectrum lanterns?
So I think he got on, like, so let's talk about Rotlop fan.
All
Because
right.
we're at the start of issue 2 anyways. Oh, issue 1 does do the thing that some DC comics do every once in a while that I really like, where the end of issue 1 is like a 2-page spread that is like things that are going to happen in this series soon, and I dig that. I really like that concept, and I wish more books did that.
Oh, is it the end of issue one?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
got that 2-page like coming soon, which used to be like a Jeff Johns thing. Like Jeff Johns used to do that all the time in his books, so maybe that's where Morrison decided he was gonna
Where
lift
was
it
Green
from.
Arrow in all of
I
this?
think he shows up in the next volume. Like, and
Oh.
obviously that weird contingent of lanterns hasn't shown up yet either.
Yeah, that's Batman in the back or someone similar
It's a bat
cowl.
person at least, yeah.
All
I think
right.
we've only gotten like one of the things that's on that page. So
Yeah, the
soon is a relative term, I guess.
the Dark Stars. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that is a cool like sneak peek. But yeah, we were going into your favorite lantern. Is that what it was?
He's not my favorite, but like he's like a
The
Alan
Dark
Moore,
Depth one.
yeah, like Alan Moore 80s creation from a story where like they want he oh, I don't remember exactly, but like for some reason, like he ends up becoming a lantern, but he can't see, so like the color green is meaningless to him, and like he can't recite the oath because he doesn't know what light is, like stuff like that. And so that's why when they're talking to him, and like every word that has to do with like vision or sight
Vision.
is like untranslatable.
Oh, that's fun.
See, it's a good joke if you know what's going on, but like,
Yep.
yeah, it's one of
Something
those.
about bells too, because he's got like a bell for his symbol.
Yeah,
Which
so
is
instead of being
lantern.
the Green Lantern,
Because
he's the F
it
sharp
rings
bell
out.
because he can't see, so he
Yes.
doesn't know about the color green or about lanterns.
Oh, watch out his bell power. Look out for it. I see. It all makes sense now.
Yeah, see, the comic failed, Pat. And I'm sorry, because like the fact that we're having like this is where the realization is happening means the comic failed. Just too
Well,
bad. No, I
if
mean,
I if I had taken more time, I probably could have figured it out. But yeah, yeah, that's so.
look out, his power bell.
Yep,
Watch out for.
his power bell.
I think
Oh,
this one's I'm fading out too, which is interesting, but
oh yeah, yeah. And is he like turn? What is like the horrible like Cthulhu-esque monster he turns into? I don't understand what's happening
I
there.
think it's just because he's a shapeshifter, or she's a shapeshifter.
See
It's a
again,
she.
like I don't like what.
Yeah, agree. Agree. Actually, how'd you feel about Evil Star?
He wears a starfish as a
He really
mask,
does, doesn't he?
which good for him. Obviously, it's an older Green Lantern villain. Like I can recognize a super villain pretty well what he
Well,
wears.
his name is also Evil Star Pet, so like
Well,
if you don't get that one, I don't really know what to do.
yes, I did appreciate them like asking him why he went by Evil Star.
It's a satirical take.
Well, at least there was some thought put into it.
I mean, like they're black stars, so they're not much better.
Which he brought up, which I appreciate. It's like, okay, Black Star shouldn't throw stones. But yeah, no, it's a fun like breaking out of a deep prison just to kill him and take his gun,
Yeah, his bands or whatever.
which I guess he destroyed a planet with 3.5 billion or 2.5 billions of people.
Yep, because Hal Jordan doesn't want him to see a doctor later.
Yeah, he's a bad man.
What do you think about the good cop bad cop interrogation with the? Gosh, see, I'm with you on the fact that like I don't know any of these other lanterns' names besides Hal Jordan. Like I know what they look like, and like I can tell you which one is which. This bird person is here on my screen, but I couldn't have told you her name
Bird
until I
woman.
just saw it.
Yeah. Like, and again, I know that I've seen a bird man, I think, in the Lantern Corps Wars. I'm thinking for sure there was. But yeah, I don't know her name. And she's bird-like only when the story needs her to be.
And she's quote unquote sexy human woman like
She's got
throughout.
boobs. Yep.
Again, interesting choices on those.
Which is,
I mean, that one's kind of pre-existing. That's not a
no, for sure. The
sort of.
design for that species had been determined, so it's not.
Body type is still a choice, but what are you going to do?
Birds don't have mammary glands. Why does she have breasts?
I don't know, Pat.
Okay.
That lantern has arms. Or the volcano has arms. Why does the volcano need arms?
And like rippling, yeah, I don't know. You know, I do like the faces in the clouds though. Every once in a while, when you get a nice eruption going.
The rumble in the dialogue is nice too, actually.
It's so weird. He's got a volcano for a head. It's great. I wonder if they should have done a scene where he's walking by in a lantern, like a little lantern needs to like dodge one of his like
eruptions.
Yeah, eruptions. Because he's going the whole time. So
this is how he talks, I think. I don't know.
Right?
I definitely confused him with the guy who's like a neck attached to an eyeball or whatever later, because he looks the same because
one?
I think so. Like there's a guy who's like, guy. I don't think it is.
I think when he's in space, he looks weird because his like eruption is captured in a lantern bubble.
Maybe it looked like a different. I don't. You know what? Don't know. That
we're gonna get there.
Yeah. I think the interrogation scene has my least favorite line of dialogue in the entire book.
Is it yum yum?
It's birdie dum dum. Yeah.
Num-nums. Oh, Morrison, what are we gonna do with you?
Very British.
I don't know. It was okay. It was their attempt at an interrogation, good cop, bad cop.
I mean, I still enjoyed it. I didn't really get Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, being afraid of spiders, but what are you gonna do?
It's a thing, man. It's a thing. I did like the spider thought that we were disgusting as well. I appreciated that.
I mean, that makes sense. We are disgusting.
We are pretty gross. But yeah, so then Dark Star, or Evil Star, gets rescued by the Dark Star. And then the Baroness sucks his blood. Or like ages him. Something. He is an old man, right? Is what they said?
Yeah, I think so.
And like somehow she removed that power from him and stole his stuff. She's so evil.
I just noticed that this planet is Planet Hippocrates also.
Yeah, it's a planet of doctors, of medical people.
The little like evil star children in suits.
What is that? Yeah.
I don't know. Like there's stuff in here that's just here because it can be every once in a while.
His like, robot starlings.
They don't contribute anything to that scene.
It's got to be
I'm coming around to your point of view, actually, the more we talk about this. It's
just wacky, book. Right?
Yeah.
And like, why? Okay, first off, why does the nurse need to be presenting female? Like, she has breasts and lipstick on.
The hair bow is something.
I think it's like a nurse's cap. Like they're going for they really leaned into the 50s pulp nature of this, and I wish they didn't. They didn't.
It goes with Hal Jordan's like straightforward white bread demeanor kind of too. Like I don't know, he's that kind of hero, so it's that kind of book. It sort of makes sense, and like maybe we should have just not read a Hal Jordan book.
It's just
I still really like. I did like this book. I keep on seeing stuff now as we go through it. Basically,
they could have made more interesting choices, and they did.
Yeah, or just different choices.
Speaking of, what do you think about the big bad in this first novel, this first volume? Controller Mew. Is it Mew?
Right? Yeah, I think it's Mew.
What do you think?
He's a guy.
Like I had no again, I have no basis of judging this man other than he looks evil and he says evil. He's got people doing bad stuff, so he's bad,
I'm much more interested in Beelzebeth than I am him.
right?
I can tell you
Yeah,
that. Which I think we're supposed to be at this point. I think he's supposed to kind of still be in the back. I'm like, he's dead, but I don't think he's dead by the end of this book.
I just
Controller Mew.
they didn't build up anything. Like, are Dark Stars a thing prior to this?
Yeah, and the controllers are a thing too, but again, you
Okay.
don't get a lot about them in here. So like I get where you're like the controllers I don't know that much about, honestly. So like he's fine. I think issue 6 does a good job of telling you, hey, this is his deal and this is why he's doing it.
But I guess, but he's going against the entire Green Lantern Corps, which I know how powerful the Guardians of Oa are, and he seems to be like going against them. Like, who is this man, and where does he get off? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, like why couldn't they just sweep in and like sweep him up at this point?
Yeah,
I don't
like
know.
why is he such a foreboding villain as opposed to like Anti-Monitor or Parallax or any a number of other cosmic rending foes that the Lanterns have dealt with?
So that is an interesting point because like even in issue 5, Hal talks about how they've like fought death itself and gods and like
Yeah.
other like cosmic things. Like
Yeah. This is the dude doing things that's beyond you? I don't understand.
if this book itself just existed, you'd be fine, right? So like it's another thing where the DC continuity weirdly works for it and doesn't work for it because like if the Green Lantern Corps wanted to wrap this dude up, they could do it pretty easily, but Grant Morrison's more interested in doing a police procedural book where it's case by case and stuff slowly unfolds and et cetera, et cetera. So
Which maybe he's like an agent of something more greater than it's probably what it'll end up being. But still, like
I mean, he's dead at the end of this volume, so I mean, you're kind of right.
But now Hal's doing exactly what the Dark Stars want. No matter what he does, that's what they want him to do. It's such like an elementary school thing. Well, do whatever you want. That's what I want you to do. Oh, you did that? Good. That's what I wanted. Like what?
I thought it was interesting.
I'm rubber. You're glue.
Have whatever opinion you want, Pat. That's the opinion I wanted you to have.
You blew off the controller's head. Good. That's what I wanted. That's what we wanted you to do.
There's no way that guy's dead as like being the quote unquote big bad of season 1. There's no way. Season 1's only half over, Pat.
All right. Okay.
All right, Earth. It's for auction. It's gone.
Yes. So this is the one that I thought it's the most Star Trek or even Doctor Who, I feel, where it's an entity pretending to be God or like some great savior, and actually no, they're actually going to eat you. And Hal Jordan or the Doctor or Starfleet needs to come in and explain to you, no, this isn't God. You don't need to worship him. He's an evil alien.
I mean, you can almost hear the Doctor Who music after page 2, right? Like,
oh, for sure.
When he reveals the planet Earth just sitting there like orbiting a sun.
In fact, that is an episode of Doctor Who. Like the Dr. Donna episode is them stealing the planet Earth. Oh, Doctor Who. So good.
So yeah, I guess like thinking about it that way, I'm not surprised that this is the one that you, if not like the most, like at least felt the best about.
Yeah, like
or most comfortable with. Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I mean, it's not a great story. Like I like how they even say like to try to like hand wave, but where are those superheroes? And they show them. And they're they're posing real good, and they're like, "Well, no, we don't need those superheroes. We need a space cop." What's going on in that page, man? Why is the Justice League not doing it? I
actually couldn't tell you, to be honest with you.
They ask the question, and then they don't answer it.
Yeah, that one doesn't quite convey. Like, I assume they're trapped somehow because the Flash is not moving. It's what he does. So
right, which they could have said like, "Oh, no one's seen them," and then they show them like frozen. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the scene is supposed to tell me other than, "Yep, that's the JLA." And they don't seem happy.
There's a Green Lantern right there. He could do it.
Oh my God, there is. I didn't even catch that. That's hilarious. It's a weird page. But
I mean,
anyways,
what Hal tells Earth to go home because it's drunk is pretty good, though, actually.
yes. No, we have superpowers. Shut up.
It's
We
not
live in that world now.
short-sighted. We
We live
do,
in that world.
actually.
Oh my god.
We've lived in that world.
Oh god.
Did he not purchase the planet fair and square, Pat?
Oh, totally did. Totally did.
He arrived just in time to save the rainforests and the coral reefs.
Is this a self-harming planet? I love that question.
Right?
It's like, oh shit. It is. It is a self-harming planet.
They're gonna sell out their grandchildren for superpowers, Pat.
And even when he shows that God isn't God, he's a giant like planet eating monsters. Like, well, we don't like to judge.
We don't judge on appearances anymore. I don't know. I didn't know how to feel about that actually, because like you really shouldn't judge on appearances, but like at the same time, look at that thing.
Also, yeah, he eats planet. He's going to eat.
It's called a terravore. You kind of understand what you're getting.
I think they understood that, and like, yeah, but that'll be generations from now, which really like we live in this planet, Matt. We live in it right now.
We can just restart the economy whenever we want, Pat.
Oh god.
Your parents will be fine. My parents will be fine.
I want everyone's parents to be fine. Oh god.
If only we could boxing glove our leaders, like Hal Jordan boxing gloves God.
What does God need with a planet?
Good question, Pat.
And then Hal Jordan slices off those ores, which why did none of the other lanterns thought of that? Like, come on.
That's why he's the greatest Green Lantern, Pat. Because he's so smart and he makes scissors.
He makes shears, really big shears.
He can make hands and 2-ton weights and scissors. I miss Kyle Rayner. I miss Kyle Rayner so much. Kyle Rayner used to make like manga-inspired mechs and like stuff. Hal Jordan makes scissors.
2 giant scissors. But then yeah, we get the like really again. There's like a lizard lady who has giant boobs. Why? She's not an actual lantern that's been in a thing before. There's no way. It's just a random lantern lady, and they made her sexy. Why?
And she kind of looks like the vampire lady too, a little bit.
She does.
Right? Okay, it's not just me.
She totally does.
Okay.
She even has the shoulders of the vampire lady. Come on.
Maybe she's the traitor.
Oh my god. Oh my god. But yeah, anyways, we get the sad scene about like kids being used as slaves and
yeah, I do find that page really like interestingly set up art and lettering wise. Like the lettering is a cool choice and it made me feel really bad. It made me feel really bad.
Mm-hmm. Well, what did you think? I mean, it's stereotypical in like cop drama, but like Hal killing the slaver.
Yeah, Hal goes rogue. I thought those pages were set up really well too. Like that was kind of my favorite cliffhanger setup of the 3 because I think those pages are laid out really dramatically, like following the nails that Hal makes like across the page and then back across the page. Of course, he makes stupid, simple nails because he's Hal.
Come on, Hal. Come on.
But like, and then the cop, quote unquote, shooting someone in self-defense was just even more commentary on top of the "Go home, Earth, you're drunk" commentary. Like,
right.
This issue is the realest issue of them all.
Yeah, and then jumping forward, the Guardians knew he was going to do that, right? Like,
yeah, they expressly told him to do it.
Like, but did the Guardians know that Earth was going to be stolen, or they just gave him like carte blanche, like you get to do something ridiculous and like outside of our normal rules?
Yeah, I think it's the second one where they were like, at some point, you got to be fed up with us and do something completely drastic.
And Hal just took the opportunity to kill a person. Good. All right.
I hope that it's revealed at some point that he didn't actually kill them.
They were blank nails.
I mean, Adam Strange, he shoots Adam Strange and he doesn't die. It could be the same thing.
I don't understand what's going on there. So. Oh, man. But then, yeah, then we get this like really interesting, the next issue starts with the like ant people story. Yeah,
the least humanoid of the
I liked those
aliens.
Ant people.
I did too. I like the design for Beelzebub's like spacesuit too in that one.
Yeah.
That dramatic cape I'm all about it.
I didn't like the larva things, but I like the ant people.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
I don't like the larva things.
I'm unsurprised by this.
But like the old ant dude with like his mustache like feelers and like his sleeve carapace arms, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed this issue, the like dueling stories, basically where both of them are pretending to not be who they are too, Hal and Beelzebeth, but like it's very
Talking
obvious.
about themselves.
It's very obvious that they are who they are. They both
Yeah.
know it too, so like you're in on it the whole time. Like you were never faked out by this, right?
Well, I mean, when they got to the end, I knew that they were who they were before they did the reveal. But like in the beginning, it was like, who are these people? What is going on?
That's fair.
Who is the like? It's an antimatter Hal. Who is the person locked up in the ant chamber?
So I think you don't need to know that yet because it'll come up
Do you
later.
know though?
I mean, sort of. Like there is like it's called the Weaponeer, I think. Hang on, now I'm googling it.
It's the
Like,
thing
it
they
is
took
like
the
it is
heart
like
from, right?
Antimatter Hal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Weaponeer.
like a nega Hal.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, that's a good description actually. It's the thing that either killed or seriously injured what's his face Prince Hootie Ha in issue 1. I don't know any of their names, Pat. There's so many of them.
The fingerless lantern. Who?
Yeah,
How did he control his ring
because
after
the
his
ring was still on
fingerless?
him, and so he
Is
used
that
the
how it
ring to
works?
levitate his finger.
Oh my
Apparently, Pat, I'm
god!
reading the same comic book as you.
Oh my god! Yeah. Okay. So this. Oh, it's her telling the story. Okay, so that is why it's in the past. See, again, it jumps in time too, which is a little confusing.
It is a little, but like, yeah, it's her telling her story about herself and Hal telling his story about himself.
Yes, because
Neither of them.
they're so creative.
Yeah. Let me tell you a story. It's a thing that happened to me.
And then Hal tells a story about not Kilowog and Starfire, who's now.
She really does look like Starfire, huh? Like to the
She
point where I
really
expected her to
does.
like fire some energy blast at some point.
Some like variation. They don't need. Okay. Anyways,
I liked the sand giant and the flame giant.
that was just like random, but yeah,
It was really
interesting.
random, but I liked it. It introduces Adam Strange so that you care about that when he eventually shows up.
Oh yeah, they're like, why is this happening? Oh, Strange isn't here to shoot them in the face. Oh, okay. Fair enough.
And there's Sun Eaters, which I feel like are a more.
I was gonna say, what do you think about the Sun Eaters?
I like Sun Eaters. They're interesting to me. What did you think about the Sun Eaters as a person who has read Sun Eater books before and so does know
I
what
have
they
read
are?
a book with a Sun Eater in it. It's true. They were fine. They're sentient nebula clouds that eat suns and also suck power ring energy. Silly, not Kilowog. What are you doing?
How did Hal kill it? I'm
Did
looking
he?
at these pages. I mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
At least
did.
that's what he says. I mean, again, who knows?
Killed, you say?
Killed, you say?
I did actually. We don't hear him say killed, do we?
No, I mean, like,
It's
we
just the
don't.
Baroness is killed. No, I actually didn't say.
I mean, it looks like he explodes on the bottom of that page before, but
With two constructed
with two fighter
jets.
jets. Oh, Hal.
Oh, Hal, you know your things.
He does his stuff. That's what he does. I really enjoyed the coloring in this one. How there's like that weird little extra shimmer to it or something like that. Like, do you notice that in that Killed You Say panel? There's like a weird extra haziness to it. I don't know. There's something extra on top of it.
That was like a sunset scene. It reminded me of like a noir kind of feel to it. I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I think some of that comes back throughout. And like, I feel like Sharp's trying a bunch of different stuff in this book. Honestly,
Oh,
like
yeah.
all the
Oh,
weird
yeah.
little like the microwave lanterns and stuff too, and like that sort of style pops up again when Hal's confronting those ghosts in the next issue.
How can they make rings for microwaves?
That you see, that is a little bizarre to me, honestly. I don't
Like
know.
they need to wear a ring, right? That's
And
still a
especially
thing.
like if you're still working within the emotional spectrum stuff, which it seems like we are. Like Parallax is name dropped in this book.
Yeah.
Like Hal quote unquote becomes
Like
more
light
Parallax again.
is your power, and yet you are
You
a
are
different
light?
wave. Like, all right, okay,
We're going for it, Pat. We're going for it in this one.
all right. And then yeah, they figure out where those hyper aggressive sun eaters came from, and then they have to go to the pillars of creation, which I thought was an interesting inclusion in this comic. that actual nebula that exists.
Oh, I think I missed that.
It's whatever page this is, which I can't get the
The page number.
got me.
I don't know.
102. It's got the. It's right after they crash the dude's animal shop. The next page is there's the Pillars of Creation, which is an actual. I think that's what it's called. Check it out.
I'm trying to see where they say that on this page.
Well, they don't say the name, but that's a picture of them. Like
Oh, really?
They just stuck it into the comic. He didn't draw that. That's actually a picture of him. Well, he may have drawn that, but
I figured that was the Sun Eater.
oh no! Like Google search Pillars of Creation. It's the nebula.
Oh, good. More stuff for the show notes. I like putting stuff in the show notes.
Yeah.
Now I'm searching it. Yeah, see, now I'm lost because it's a real world thing.
Exactly. It threw me like it's also from the same perspective that we see it, so they must be flying at the exact angle that the Earth is viewing the nebula for us to recognize it. But whatever, it's fine. Space. What are you gonna do?
Now I'm looking at this guy, and maybe that is the volcano.
That's the
guy
volcano
still.
dude.
I thought that was a different dude for some
No,
reason.
because it's a sphere because he's bubbled
He's
himself.
just captured it. Okay.
He's captured the explosion.
So weird.
Yep. It's very strange.
Weird comic book, Pat.
You're coming around, Matt. You're coming around.
Do you see how the main panel of the page is also the outline of the Pillars of Creation?
I do.
That's
this is also
good.
one that I didn't enjoy, but that's okay. But yeah, so they go to an actual nebula.
Yeah. And then a sun shows up to help them capture the Sun Eater. I don't know why you'd bring a sun to
Is
a
it
Sun
a
Eater.
sun? Is that what it is?
It's some sort of sun, I think.
I thought it was a planet. I didn't know what it was.
I think it's an artificial sun.
It's a Dyson sphere. It's a Dyson sphere as a lantern. I'm going with that.
All right, I'm down.
Which would have a sun inside of it.
Makes sense.
They never explain what it is? No, not really.
No, they did at the start, but I'm too lazy to go back.
Fair enough. Never look back. You know what I'm just noticing now is that the metallic helmet that the Baroness is wearing. Is she a Baroness? I keep saying that, but whatever.
Countess or something?
Countess, something like that.
Anywho.
The Duchess. Maybe she is a duchy. Who knows?
The Duchess of Beelzebeth. The Duchess of Vor.
Good old those Vor Duchesses. It's an unfortunate name.
I mean, it's right on the nose.
They like eating things, okay? It's Vor. She's got reflection in her metallic helmet, which I didn't notice before, which I appreciate.
Yeah, again,
couple panels.
Weird experimental stuff. I like it. I'm into it.
And then he's like, yeah, and then Hal got unjustly thrown out.
No, kicked out of the Corps again. He was just out of the Corps like 3 issues ago.
And then they reveal each other.
Yeah.
But it was me all along, the cosmic vampire's beautiful daughter.
The Duchess of Vor realizes, or reveals
Countess. She is a countess. I knew it. But I like Duchess first. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm going with it now. In my headcanon, she's a Duchess.
I don't know how a Duchess and a Countess stack up against each other, but
oh, okay, hang on. I got Google right here, Pat.
Hopefully we aren't demoting her.
Duchess versus Countess versus Baroness is a Google search that people have done.
Ooh.
Oh baby, let's do it.
A barony versus a county. I don't know what a count.
All right, hang on. I have found an
article. Is it a county? Oh my god.
I have an article found an article titled Sophie, Countess of Wessex. Why Sophie is a countess and not a duchess? Does Queen decide?
Does Queen decide?
Not read it right now because I don't want to.
Okay, show notes.
All that empty air, but if it's good, I'll put it in the show notes.
I'm looking forward to that.
I gotta favorite it now so I don't lose it. All right. So here's the thing I want to ask you because I didn't I didn't figure it out and I actually knew it somehow maybe.
Yeah.
Do you ever figure out who Beelzebeth is the daughter of in this book?
No.
Okay, I didn't either. So the title doesn't make any sense because you never find out whose daughter she is.
Well, they say that Green Arrow killed him.
Yeah,
I don't even name drop him though.
So apparently it's this guy called Starbreaker. I don't remember Green Arrow ever killing him. And I looked it up and I couldn't find anything about that either. So
is it Morbius? Is Morbius her dad?
Wrong universe, friend.
That movie's gonna be freaking weird, by the way.
Oh God, is that still coming out? That hasn't
Oh
gotten
yeah.
stuck in production or whatever.
Mm.
Hmm.
And it's what's his name playing him? Guy who played Joker.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
It's gonna be
Why?
real weird and
Let's talk
horrible.
about the strange thing we actually care
Yep.
about.
Okay.
Leave the strange thing we don't care about behind.
Morbius. Isn't he the dude with like suckers on his hand? Whatever. Anyways,
Yes, I believe you're right.
that's a weird character to make a movie about.
Yeah.
They should just remake Blade and just leave it at that.
They are remaking Blade.
Oh well, thank God. I don't know.
That's
I don't
like
know what do I want
Marvel
anymore.
movie 4 in the next lineup or something, I think.
Oh God.
I think I'm over comic book movies, Pat. That's a separate podcast, though. Anyways, welcome to Vor, Planet of Vampires.
For Planet of Vampires.
You didn't like this issue? I really liked this issue. I think it played really well to Sharp's style, honestly.
No, I mean I enjoyed it. It feels like just out of the blue we're on this like macabre horror planet.
I mean,
But
it's another episode, new week.
Let's talk about that first opening page where she's welcoming him to Vor, and then we see that next panel where it's a bunch of different vampires freaking out that Hal's on this planet with, I guess they don't like her, the Countess. But did you have fun looking at all those vampires? Because I'm pretty sure there's references to like Interview with a Vampire, because I'm pretty sure that's Brad Pitt and what's his name?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise in the bottom left-hand corner.
That is Tom Cruise. And look at, I didn't honestly pay that much attention to it because I was more into the story, but like, yeah. And I think Morbius might be in that panel.
That's what Morbius is like right behind Tom Cruise.
Yep.
And then the dude like in front of the goblin looking chick on the right, I think is What We Do in the Shadows dude. Vampire.
Oh
like there's vampire references in here
There's
for
a
sure.
lot going on in this book that may not need to be going on, Pat. You're right. You're absolutely right.
I want to know what movie that dude in the bottom right-hand corner is from, because he's definitely from some sort of like, I don't know what it is, but he's from something. I was looking for like
An
Twilight
explainer.
Vampire in there somewhere. Just a sparkling dude somewhere.
Maybe that's the one in the hood.
Maybe. Yeah, there's like a Nosferatu in there too. They're all there, man.
Yeah.
The Muppet, they should have the Count from Sesame Street.
That would be hilarious, actually, though.
But yeah, so this is just a weird comic book. But yeah, so Vor.
It's a really weird comic book, Pat. It's like, take the most straightforward superhero character you can and just throw him in the middle of so much nonsense.
Green Lantern, I don't know. It did get wacky with the alien stuff, but this is like taking it to another level. Which, I appreciate the attempt.
It's a take.
It is. But yeah, so she brings him there for the initiation of the Dark Stars, is what he's going through.
Yes.
Which he has to make 3 sacrifices, learn 3 lessons, and receive 3 gifts. Because he's dying? Is that what it is? I don't remember why there's like a time limit.
No, he's not dying till the end. I think there's just a time limit because there's a time limit.
Limits? Sure.
It's a test.
Mm-hmm.
Tests have time limits, Pat. You've taken tests.
Yes. All the time. Yep. Those blood bells. Because of course they're called blood bells on Vor. Because what else would they be called?
Pat, that's good though.
I just want a normal person just be walking by. It's like, hey, just going grocery shopping through the graveyard.
They don't need to grocery shop. Hell would be the groceries in that situation.
It's like the artist played Bloodborne and then decided to write this issue.
Dude, I love this issue. I love just looking at these pages.
So yeah, so she leads him basically through a bunch of trials. He learns
the maze that is a vampire planet.
Yep. He learns the doctrine of the Dark Stars, as well as picks up their suit, right? Their uniform.
Yeah, his new gear.
Of which he was wearing a piece of.
Yeah. Like you do.
Which he just had to say to himself, I'm not shackled. And then they weren't shackles anymore.
I mean, he didn't know what they were. Then he knew what they were and he could activate them.
If only he was used to just forcing his will to create reality. That was the thing he would be accustomed to. That would happen a lot sooner,
He
right?
figured it out.
So yeah, he beats up on the denizens of Vor for no reason.
He was told to. She's making him.
The Countess, man.
He punches a horse, this undead horse.
The poor horse. Yeah, that horse wasn't doing anything. It was just standing there in a giant leech thing. Who the Countess all of a sudden has like laser vision. There are some strange things in this comic. Just trying to keep up.
Because she's the daughter of what's his face? I can't remember his name. I looked up earlier. Yeah, Morbius. Morbius has laser vision.
I'm sure.
Laser vision Jared Leto coming to a cinema near you soon.
Oh man, we live in a society.
Post-quarantine. First movie.
And then this is the one where they reveal, oh, but he's actually a secret double agent because the Guardian's like, yeah, you're going to be the one that betrays us.
But there will probably be another one too, right?
Well, yeah, because the Book of Oa said there would be. Can't do the Book of Oa that way.
Not like this. Not like
this. Yeah, so we get Black Star Parallax.
That's sure a name.
You can't think of his own name.
I mean, it's not the most egregious thing that happens on this page. Hal Jordan grabs his crotch on this page too.
Oh, he does. Oh, man.
He does the old Captain Picard, this is too tight.
Yeah, and then they reveal that there's one last test. You must kill Adam Strange.
Did you care about this cliffhanger, Pat?
I don't know Adam Strange other than that one Green Lantern issue that Simon had us read. So no, not really.
Okay. Yeah, I thought this was kind of like the weakest of the cliffhangers, honestly.
Well, you knew that Hal wasn't going to kill Adam Strange.
No, I mean obviously, but like at the same time, it relies on, again, prior knowledge in like a way that I actually like Adam Strange, but I think it's still kind of the weakest of the cliffhangers to me.
And then what is this, issue 5?
I think this would be 6, right? Because this is the.
Oh yeah.
I really dig the cover to issue 6 actually, with that like him and Adam Strange standing apart. Like I actually am a big Adam Strange fan to the point where when I had his Hero Clicks, I played it all the time, even though it wasn't actually that good. Like I haven't read. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, does he phase in and out as an ability?
I think the newer one actually. There's a newer one that does, maybe. I don't know.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I've read a decent amount of Adam Strange stuff. Like I'm nowhere near an Adam Strange expert, but I kind of just dig his deal of like being a normal human with ray guns rocketed out into space, basically. I don't know. I like normal humans doing things.
Planet Ron is it's a weird place.
It is.
They're super scientific, I guess.
Yeah, which I think is why like Adam Strange is kind of their quote unquote hero, is because he's a man of action. And they're very much not people of action.
Fair enough. But yeah, so somehow Hal fakes his death.
Yeah.
Fakes Adam's death.
I mean, it's a willpower-based weapon. You're the one who said Hal knows how willpower works.
That's true. Why would you give a willpower-based weapon to a former... Whatever. It's fine.
Because he's on your side now. Everything he does for Mew.
Oh, that's right. They wanted him to do that.
So this is your big Controller Mew issue. So like I'm going back through it now and I want to figure out if I don't know. I enjoyed him. He's the old scheming, like the more we get through it, the more pulpy it feels to me. And he's like the scheming pulp villain.
But all of a sudden he's like in a Nazi scientist outfit. Like
he's just in a normal scientist outfit, Pat. That's what normal scientists wear all the time. Kat went to work this morning. That's what she was wearing.
Oh no. Matt, I'm afraid to have to tell you something.
Is she? No, say it's not true. Are we the bad guy?
But yeah, like all of a sudden he's a Nazi scientist doing like evil things in his laboratory. He's never worn that outfit before. Is that like his casual wear when he gets inside his...
He's doing science. Look at it. Look at the laboratory he's in.
Matt, what's his deal?
He's controlling things.
Is he?
Yeah.
What? The Dark Stars?
Everything I do it for Mew. I don't know. He's ominous looking enough. I'm looking at this.
No, that's what he's got. But that seems really like speciesist. Like maybe that's just what his race looks like.
Well, really, it's the shadows and the wrinkles more than anything. But
he has poor lighting. That's not his fault.
I don't know. He's the controller. He's going to control things. There's Muse universe and no universe at all. Like I get his deal by the end of this. I don't even know exactly what his actual plan
But
is.
they're giving his deal in one page, basically. I don't know.
So knowing that it's halfway through a 12 issue long season, does that ease your discomfort with it?
Maybe. I mean, I'll guess I'll have to see what they do with him, but
I mean, apparently he's
so
dead.
far,
So
well, that's what they wanted. So maybe he's not. Who knows? And the bomb is like an atom. I don't know. And it's like a MacGuffin bomb that'll like destroy the universe and like, okay, defuse the bomb by
wishing at it real hard. I mean, that's what Green Lanterns do. So I don't know what you want.
I don't know, just not a MacGuffin bomb that'll destroy the universe to appear out of nowhere. Like if there were more scenes of the controller like obviously controlling things, like
he set everything up the whole time, Pat. He told you. You want him to show you? That's not a rule. That's not a rule of storytelling.
shh, tell, don't show is how it goes, right?
Yeah, that's what I learned in my creative writing classes.
Fantastic. Off scene is where most of the things should happen.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I don't know. But Hal disarms the U-bomb, but his way, which is become one with his ring. I don't know what happens at the end, Matt.
I don't either, man, but I'm going to read issue 7 to find out.
Because the last 2 pages feels very, very Sandman to me. Like,
I mean,
is
the whole book is
in the land
really
of dreams?
No, he's inside his ring.
Okay.
Which is why you see the ring.
Morpheus isn't going to show up and, like, talk to him?
No, this weird wizard dude named Merwedden, who apparently was in old Green Lantern comics, is going to show up.
See, that dude reminded me of, like, Cain and Abel.
Yeah, a bit. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I think the art feels very, like, it's a cross between, like, Neil Adams Green Lantern stuff. There's a panel, 3, 4, 5 pages before that where Hal's got the ring on and like his face is the most. I'll show you a link to this in the show notes too. Like
sure,
Neil Adams Green Lantern, like it's the most Neil Adams Green Lantern face I've seen outside of Neil Adams Green Lantern. And then this is Sandman ass nonsense.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't like. Maybe this is the weakest of the cliffhangers because at least I do. Adam Strange was, but like I do want to figure out what happened to Hal. So I think.
Does he have a sock on the end of his stump? Is that what that is?
I think it seems like it.
And he's got like a goat hoof. Matt, what the fuck?
I don't know. Apparently, it's some weird dude that lives inside the Green Lantern ring. Like Abin Sur put him there.
What?
I don't know, Pat, but we can find out together when we read Volume 2. You're going to read Volume 2, right?
What if I have you summarize what Volume 2 is after you read it?
So, actual question: Do you think you'll read Volume 2? It's okay to say no.
Probably not.
Okay.
Like I say, if you read it, I would be glad to hear a synopsis. But I don't think I will be purchasing or reading.
I mean, I think it's still the same book, so I don't think you're gonna like. I don't think any like the tone or the pacing or the art or anything drastically changes from what I've seen. Like I've read the issue that Green Lantern appears in, and that's a strange as hell issue, honestly.
I don't like paging through these variant covers. There's a Frank Quitely variant for Volume 1. I want to read that book.
I mean, you are reading that book.
But Matt, look at that. It's cool. Like, that was one panel of this story. Why don't they do more with that?
I'm looking at the one right after it, which is the Jim Chung variant cover.
What is happening there?
That's a Kyle construct. Like, I'm looking at that construct of like, oh, that's cool. That's not a Hal construct.
Hal wouldn't have thought of that.
Hal would never make something that interesting. What if this book starred Kyle Rayner? Would you like it more? Because I would.
Probably not. But
what if this book starred Guy Gardner? Would you like it more?
Guy Gardner? No. Who's the architect guy? I can never remember his name.
John Stewart.
Yes, John Stewart.
I like him too. I actually like most of them. Like one of the newer ones, Jessica Cruz. She's cool too. But anyways.
This was a trip.
It was a trip, right? Like, at least it was interesting.
There were choices made, yes.
How would you rank it against... Okay, how would you rank it against two things?
Yeah.
Against Circle of Fire, Green Lantern Circle of Fire, which we read for the podcast, And then wait, no, take that one first. Then we'll do the second one.
Okay, so I have to do this first.
Yeah, let's do this one first. Keeping in mind all the highs and lows of Circle of Fire.
This is better, yes. Like
Okay.
both like the art and the story is a little wishy-washy in parts where I would probably say they're almost comparable.
I mean, but like at least stuff happens in this book, right? There's that whole issue, which is that Kyle Rayner and Alex issue, where like they talk about their feelings and nothing really happens. At least,
Yeah, but
like shit
I'm
happens in
invested
this
more
book.
in that. Like, there's no character building in this one, though.
You
Like,
don't feel for Controller Mew. All he wants to do is control. It's in his name, Pat. He needs to do it.
it's just like the Circle of Fire isn't good, but it has a clear vision, which I feel like this.
Oh, I would debate that, but I know what you're saying. Actually,
Well, I mean, like, yes, it meanders, but there is like a clear end, which not fair that I haven't seen the end of this one. So this
that's
is not
true.
really
You are halfway
fair
through
judgment.
a 12 episode season.
Yeah, so I guess I'll reserve that judgment. But yes, this is better, but I think the art does a lot for it, more so than the story.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. And at least we correctly came down on this is better, because I would have been so mad at you if you'd said the other thing.
Oh no, Circle of Fire is no. Nope.
All right, and then how does this rank for you versus like other Grant Morrison stuff you've read? Is it your lowest book?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, if I were to just rate this by the last issue of New X-Men where they jump 500 years in the future and it doesn't make any sense.
Better than that.
Yeah, it might be.
Although
But
that does have that live Scott live moment in it, where my boy gets told to live.
you're right, it's absolutely horrible. So never mind. No, this is probably my least favorite Grant Morrison that I've read.
Okay. I was trying to figure out if it's even fair to like rank it that way, having only read half a season. Like
That is true. The story isn't complete, so he might pull something out. Grant Morrison does some tricky things.
And then B, I think there are a couple books that are even more nonsensical that I think I would put below this. Like I recently read Sea Guy, which was good, but like also had a bunch of stuff that was just kind of there, and it didn't quite click for me. So I don't know. Like it's not my least favorite. More like I really like the structure of it, honestly. Like I really like being able to read each individual issue like as its own thing, and it's building towards it. I think the TV structure works for it, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. The style just really didn't land for me. So
yeah, which I think is fair. So I don't know. I don't think it's my least favorite, but it's definitely not my new favorite.
I mean, I'm saying my favorite of maybe 4 Grant Morrisons that I've read, so it's not really all that damning when I say it's my least favorite.
Yeah, I mean, like, I still really enjoyed reading it.
Yeah.
Even though it's still probably like closer to the bottom of my list than you might think it is from like the way I was talking about it. But I don't know, like I enjoyed reading it. I really enjoyed looking at it, and I know we disagree on that, but I just feel like there are a lot of interesting choices throughout. And like
I think it's good to look at. I just think it's not good to parse. Like
storytelling
understanding what's going on, it's difficult. But like if you were to give me a poster-sized image of like probably 24 of these pages, I would love it. As trying to understand like action on a page, it's a little muddy.
What would you say your favorite Morrison book is of the 4 you've read?
I mean, All-Star Superman's pretty good.
It's pretty darn good.
It's pretty good.
This is definitely know that.
Because New X-Men is good, but there's lots of like meandering bits towards the like middle of it.
I'm still not even sure whether Magneto being Zorn, spoiler alert, even
I don't understand that at all. But
it's a really great reveal, but I'm not sure it makes sense.
How, Matt? How is he Zorn? Every time Zorn crops up, it's like, wait, is that Zorn or is that Magneto?
It made more sense having read volume 6 without having read the 5 volumes before, because it was really cool and you didn't need to try to explain how it all fit.
I liked the
Which is the
Zorn's
thing I
like,
did.
setup. It really made me sad when it's like, wait, that was Magneto the whole time? Wait, that doesn't make any sense. And we're talking about, okay, sorry, focus.
I mean, I think that says a lot about this book that we immediately dovetailed into talking about New X-Men.
That's the thing. Like, there aren't characters in this that I care about. Like Hal.
No, absolutely not.
Hal.
It's plot. if you don't like, if you can't get into the plot, like, and you couldn't, like, it's not gonna work. So, all right,
If you were to
so
recommend anything, is that where you're going, or are you
yeah,
going somewhere?
I was gonna ask you to go first though. Like, if
Oh, I
you,
don't have any idea.
I mean, like, what would you read instead of this?
I mean, if you like the art, like we were saying, Sandman is chock full of similar art styles. It's not the same artist.
I was actually thinking, because with you having talked about like the reason you couldn't get into this was more, well, like the art sort of, but also the character stuff. I wonder if you would actually have a better time with the same artist did a run on Wonder Woman with Greg Rucka, like right around when
I was
DC
looking at
rebooted.
some of those panels and they look pretty good.
Yeah, and
So,
like it's a smaller story, so you get a little less of the like big, like the large, like the thing I was talking about with like the large panels and then the inset stuff, because it's more,
mhm.
I think just the differences in the way Rucka writes and the way Morrison writes, like they're interested in different stories.
I do think it is the combination of both the fantastic art and the like non-grounded story that has me lost. Like if one or the other were to be more grounded, I probably would enjoy it
Yeah,
more.
one of them might click a little bit better, and then away you go, maybe.
Yeah. So maybe I should try that Wonder Woman and see
I
what I
enjoyed it,
think.
and also like that was interesting because they, to like meet the, I think that book was shipping twice every month. So like to do that, they had a second artist telling a second story, basically. Like
Oh,
the
okay.
story in the present was alternating with Wonder Woman Year One, and Nicola Scott was on art for that, of Nightwing Butt fame.
Nice.
So like that book was good. I read that via the library, and I really enjoyed it because I really like Greg Rucka's stuff too. So
Okay.
it might be worth checking out.
Sure.
But I'm trying to think if someone like really enjoyed this book specifically, what I would recommend them. And like it's kind of tough actually, because this book's such its own unique thing, which I think is part of why it is hard for us to even like process it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Trying to
Like
think of any other like
I wouldn't shift you to other Green Lantern stuff that I've read based on this,
I mean, if
because
you
it's
liked
different.
this, yeah, if you liked this story, then yeah, other Green Lantern stuff is not going to have the same flavor.
Yeah, it's not the thing.
But if you like the concept of the Lantern Corps, then I'd say you're probably good to go through the whole Lantern Corps.
I was gonna
Like,
say, I don't know if I'd even like, I don't know if I'd even take you to Hal's book. I might take you to like that Green Lantern Corps miniseries I was talking about, which actually stars my boy Kyle, so that's nice. But that
yeah,
was like right after Rebirth. I think it was like a 6-issue miniseries.
Recharge. That
Yeah.
sound right?
Yep. Yeah. That was good. I enjoyed that. So maybe that's where you need to go.
I'm looking up. I think you were the one that gave me all like the scans of Green Lantern stuff.
I think you gave them to me.
I don't. I thought I don't know. Someone pulled this together with like notes and stuff, and it was definitely not me.
I mean,
I thought it was one of. I thought it was one of your Australia friends.
oh,
Australia friends who were
it
listening.
might be from Cal actually.
Yeah,
Maybe.
see?
That's
See if I
right.
was right.
I mean, I own all those issues, so
I do too, I'm sure.
I mean, you can borrow them whenever you'd like, Pat. One of
That's
us
right.
paid for them at least.
I'm sorry. I was poor at the time. I was in college. But yeah, like I have all the from Rebirth to the beginning of Blackest Night.
Yeah, but again, like I don't think I'd shift you to like the rebirth stuff or like the emotional spectrum stuff. Maybe the Sinestro Core War, because that's bigger
It's got characters in it though, like Sinestro. Like that's what I really missed. I need something
to
to
connect
get my
with. Yeah,
attention. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just people doing things, which is okay. And like
if the things are cool enough, it gets you by. But then our opinion varies.
uh, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Other than that planet stealing slaver issue, it was pretty bland. What was happening in the comic book that we just read called The Green Lantern? Like even on the
The Green
vampire
Lantern.
planet, he's just walking through and like drudging through and punching a horse. Like,
Yeah,
come
I mean, I
on.
think a lot of it leans on the fact that the art is doing unique things, and if you don't like, you didn't like the story, you didn't like the art. Obviously, like book's not going to work at that point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The art was doing the heavy lifting, which is strange because it's a Grant Morrison, so you'd think it would be more appealing, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe the back half of this is where it's really gonna pick up.
I will let you know.
You should.
Because I'm going to read it. I enjoyed this enough to read the back half of it at some point.
Good.
But I'm an easier mark when it comes to comic books, I think.
You are. You're quite the pushover. Come on.
I mean, we've read things that, you know.
Oh, I know.
But I think that's going to do it for this month's discussion of The Green Lantern. As always, if you want to get in touch with Pat or myself, you can find us on Twitter at TheHypnoToad and at MattLedge, respectively. You can also email us at waitingonthetrade@gmail.com and read more comics-related goodness at mattreadscomics.com. Next time, we're hopefully going to be discussing House of X and Powers of X with a bunch of quarantine guest hosts. But we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
I have fingers crossed on both my hands right now. I'm really hoping that it comes through. I'm really hoping we can get Kat in to share her opinion too, because I found it really interesting. So
we really should, because it did add. And I feel for her now that I read this comic book right afterwards. It's like, yes, you can get lost.
That's what she meant. There's too much going on.
What? Crazy.
At least this one didn't have data pages, man.
I liked this.
I did too, but we were wrong.